Imagine a world where rebellion isn't just fought with swords, but with monstrous creations and seductive dances, where the very earth can be born from a monster's seed. Slightly mysterious intro music begins and fades to background. Welcome, listeners of Veritas Antiqua. I'm your host. Today, we will journey together into the depths of a truly epic Hurrian myth to uncover the secrets of an ancient clash.
Yes, we're exploring the myth of Hedammu. It's a narrative just brimming with cosmic battle, some really strange alliances, and, well, a giant serpent. Our source material is ancient cuneiform tablets, but the thing is, they're unfortunately quite fragmented.
Right.
So that means we'll need to navigate the known, but also sort of ponder the intriguing unknowns, piecing together this captivating story from what actually remains.
Our mission, then, is to try and uncover the motivations behind creating this monster, the really surprising tactics used to fight it, and maybe what this all reveals about the Pantheon's endless power struggles. Okay, let's dive in.
Okay, so to set the stage for Hedammu, you really need to understand his lineage, where he comes from. He's presented as yet another of Kumarbi's struggle vehicles.
Ah, Kumarbi.
Exactly. Kumarbi, as you know, he's the architect of this ongoing divine rebellion. He's perpetually challenging the existing order, especially the storm god, Teshub. Hedammu is basically his latest attempt, coming right after the colossal failure of Ulikumi.
A story we've touched on before, yes.
Precisely. Kumarbi is just relentless in his quest for power, isn't he? Always devising new threats.
He really is. And as we piece this incredible story together, it's worth reminding ourselves about the sources. These ancient tablets, they're long, incredibly complex, and like you said, badly fragmented.
Very much so.
Which often leaves these, tantalizing gaps in the narrative. It makes it really challenging to grasp the whole sequence of events.
Yeah.
We know Hedammu is part of a larger series. There are at least 5 of these monstrous creatures Kumarbi apparently conjured for his rebellion. The Hurrian pantheon, they certainly had a knack for these epic giant threats.
They really did.
Which brings us right to Hedammu's, well, rather peculiar parentage. We know his father is the rebel god Kumarbi, but his mother, she's Sertapsuri, the daughter of the sea. What do the sources actually tell us about this unusual divine pairing? Was it a willing union?
Well, the texts describe it as pretty reluctant, actually. A difficult divine marriage, certainly not a love match. What's particularly intriguing is how the sea himself goes to great lengths to persuade Kumarbi to marry Sertapsuri.
Really, the sea is pushing for this.
Oh, yes. The sea praises his daughter's giant-like physique as a strength, even while also noting she has a gentle and sweet nature. But this emphasis on her massive stature, it seems to be a key element for their purpose, perhaps hinting at the monstrous nature of their offspring. Or maybe just indicating her raw power as the sea's daughter. It's fascinating.
So, despite the sea's, enthusiastic sales pitch, Kumarbi, the groom-to-be, he shows some really peculiar behavior. He's initially reluctant, sort of dragging his feet, acting quite capricious, just doesn't seem to want to go to his bride.
Yeah, the text even suggests his foot dragging might have been because he found her unattractive, or maybe he was just fed up with the sea's incessant nagging.
It does paint a rather undignified picture for a cosmic rebel, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And Kumarbi's reluctance, it's a curious detail. Then following this, we get this remarkably secretive meeting. Kumarbi sends his trusted vizier, Mukishanu, who's essentially his chief advisor and enforcer, to the sea with a private message. And Mukishanu is told specifically to travel unseen over rivers, even underground, to reach the sea. Very cloak and dagger.
Wow. Okay, so maximum secrecy.
Exactly. The sea, when he gets the message, eagerly hurries to Kumarbi's palace. Clearly hopeful, maybe, to finally become a father-in-law. They hold this celebratory feast, complete with sweet wines, but then, right in the middle of it, Kumarbi gives this puzzling command. Lock and bolt all the doors.
Lock the doors. Why?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? What intricate plan was Kumarbi already orchestrating with the sea? Does it imply extreme secrecy or maybe even some kind of veiled hostage situation during this private summit? The sources are, well, frustratingly vague right there. It leaves us to speculate quite a bit on the depth of their conspiracy.
And speaking of intriguing gaps, the exact moment of Hedammu's conception and birth is, again, frustratingly missing from the text we have.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's almost like the story just jumps and suddenly, poof, he emerges onto the scene as this fully grown, formidable threat. What we do know, though, is Hedammu's form. A giant snake, described as Hydra-like.
Hydra-like, yes. Meaning not just immense, but perhaps multiple heads. Or maybe just an overwhelming, resilient nature, embodying this purely serpentine form. which interestingly contrasts quite a bit with his father Kumarbi's more humanoid
You
figure.
throw a monster from the deep.
Absolutely. And with Hedammu unleashed, his terrifying presence is felt immediately. He's floating in the vast waters of the sea, spreading dread, clearly intending to succeed where his predecessor, Ulukumi, had failed against the gods. He's a truly monstrous sight, a literal manifestation of chaos.
It's right at this critical point that Ishtar makes her appearance. The queen of Nineveh, mother goddess, goddess of love and war, a powerhouse.
A major figure, yes.
And she's depicted as quite distressed. We learn she's given this grand feast, and the storm god Teshub tries to console her, even though he's visibly frustrated with her himself, apparently because she didn't greet him properly when she came in.
Right, she seems too proud or maybe just too upset to even sit on the throne offered or to eat the food. Quite a statement.
So what exactly has disturbed Ishtar so profoundly?
Well, the reason for her distress soon becomes clear. The ominous news has reached her. Kumarbi, in yet another alliance, this time with the sea, has created Hedammu, a new, potent challenger to the storm god, Teshub. The sources reveal Hedammu and the sea are openly defying the gods, threatening the whole cosmic order.
And Teshub's reaction to this news is described as truly profound.
It is. He's filled with immense fear, weeping profusely.
Weeping, the storm god.
Yes, his tears are described as flowing like canals, literally like canals. That's powerful imagery.
Wow. What does that extreme reaction signify? Is it about the vulnerability of the gods, or is this sort of weeping a common trope in these ancient stories?
I think it really highlights the extreme existential threat these monsters pose. Teshub's fear isn't just personal, it's a fear for the stability of the entire cosmos he rules. The sources suggest a monumental battle is imminent. Sky raining, floods engulfing everything, total chaos.
Okay.
But Ishtar, maybe having witnessed the failure of direct combat against Ulukumi, she devises this truly cunning, unconventional plan.
She realizes brute force might not be the answer this time.
It seems so. It signals a shift in divine strategy, perhaps.
So her strategy is remarkably audacious. She decides to use her femininity, her allure, as an unexpected weapon.
Exactly.
She prepares a potent love potion, meticulously mixed with licorice and other sweet plants, pours it into a cup, clearly intending to intoxicate this terrifying serpent.
It's a far cry from a thunderbolt, isn't it?
Definitely not standard divine warfare.
No. And Hedammu takes the first sip, and the transformation is immediate. And rather shocking, he becomes deeply intoxicated, falls into this profound, almost sweet sleep.
But so it works.
Initially, yes. But in this disoriented state, he behaves like an ox and donkey, wandering aimlessly, indiscriminately, devouring everything in his path. Cattle, horses, kids, lambs, fish, frogs, snails, even river dogs, earth, sand, seashells, everything.
Devouring the earth itself.
Yes. He scoops up water and fish with his hands, creating massive pools as he consumes. This act of chaotic, indiscriminate consumption. It isn't just gluttony, it feels more like primordial chaos, a monstrous undoing of creation itself as he devours the very elements of the world.
A chilling image, like the anti-creation.
Precisely. It's quite a commentary on the destructive nature of these divine weapons Kumarbi keeps making.
So, with Hedammu in this drunken stupor, Ishtar moves to her next step, trying to fully lure the monster.
Right. She instructs her servants, Ninada and Kulita, to go down to the beach, play tambourine and lyre, set the mood, as it were.
A performance on the beach.
Yes, and Ishtar herself then sings enchanting songs using clamshells as symbols and dances mesmerizingly, performing the seductive ritual to draw him closer.
It's a full-on siren song and dance routine.
Pretty much. But Hedammu is initially unresponsive to all this, still oblivious in his drunken haze.
So the music and dance aren't enough.
Apparently not. So Ishtar makes a final, truly audacious move. She lifts her skirt to expose herself.
Oh, really? The text says that.
It does. A very direct act. And this compels Hedammu to emerge from the water, consumed by desire, the text notes, with his penis erect. Now, the text is fragmented right here, maybe even censored over time, who knows. But the mating is clearly implied. It's incredibly direct, quite graphic for an ancient myth.
Unbelievable. And the outcome of this bizarre union, it's even stranger, isn't it?
It really is. Hedammu's semen spread across the land. It actually impregnates mountains and fields, leading to the pregnancy of 130 existing cities and the founding of 70 new cities.
So, his act of lust, fueled by Ishtar's trick, leads to creation. the founding of cities.
Exactly. What a strange and profoundly fertile consequence from such a grotesque, destructive encounter. It's almost this ironic act of creation born directly from chaos and seduction.
A fascinating paradox indeed.
It is. Now, here's the surprising twist, the part that really challenges our expectations. Despite Ishtar's elaborate and, seemingly successful seduction, her plan ultimately fails to neutralize Hedammu.
Fails, but she seduced him. He created cities.
But the giant serpent, remarkably, remains alive. It appears her intention to deliver a knockout blow through seduction didn't quite achieve the monster's actual demise. Maybe that wasn't even the full plan, or maybe it just didn't work as expected.
Fascinating. So what happens next?
Well, we learn about a second encounter just 2 days later. Hedammu is now sober.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and clearly displeased by the earlier trick. The text says he spits foam, he leaves his throne in the sea, and boldly propositions Ishtar again.
He propositions her again.
Yeah.
After being tricked.
Yep, invites her to the sea this time for more lovemaking. It seems the monster learned from his mistake about drinking her potions, perhaps, but maybe not enough to deter his desires. Or perhaps he thinks he has the upper hand now.
Incredible. And does she accept? What happens?
And this is precisely where the myth becomes so frustratingly fragmented again.
Of course.
Exactly. While the text we have doesn't describe Hedammu's ultimate demise, it is certain that he was eventually killed. The god's safety, particularly Teshub's, had to be ensured for the narrative cycle to resolve. But what's fascinating here is how these ancient stories often leave us with these crucial missing pieces, don't they? Yet the general arc, divine victory against monstrous threats, it remains clear.
Right. It almost forces us to fill in the gaps with our own imagination, maybe drawing on the patterns we see in other myths to understand the likely resolution.
Precisely. The core message of order overcoming chaos persists, even if the details are lost.
What an incredible journey. Through cosmic rebellion, desperate measures, and the really surprising power of seduction in ancient Hurrian mythology. From Kumarbi's relentless quest to unseat the gods, to Ishtar's audacious ploy, and Hedammu's chaotic yet somehow unexpectedly fertile consumption. This deep dive truly shows us the wild, wild imagination of the Hurrian world.
It really does. And you might consider the cyclical nature of these power struggles, right? First Ulukumi, now Hedammu. What does it suggest about the maybe inherent instability of divine order in these ancient belief systems? That it constantly needs defending.
A constant battle.
And also, how does a monstrous act of destruction ironically lead to acts of creation, like the birth of all those cities? Perhaps the ancients understood, maybe better than we do sometimes, that creation and destruction are really just two sides of the same cosmic coin, constantly intertwined in the grand narrative of existence.
A profound thought to end on. I hope you've enjoyed our journey into this mysterious world. If you like this deep dive, please consider sharing it with a friend who loves a good myth. Until we meet again next week to follow the trail of another ancient legend, take care. Outro music begins and swells.